2003. I'm about to hit this.
So you been gone?
I've been gone for 14 summers, man. You hear me? But I ain't swum since 2003.
We do acknowledge there is no way people can get out of this facility without there being some type of lapse in security. There's no way. It's almost impossible, not completely, but almost impossible for anybody to get out of this facility without help from the outside.
Show a dislodged toilet inside one of the cells and the words "too easy" scribbled above, pointing to a hole where the inmates are believed to have escaped.
Open the door, dude. I'm not opening. You kidding me? Get out. Go with them.
Weezy might need to hit up his lawyer real quick, because guess what? He's now being tied to one of those dudes who just broke out of a New Orleans prison, and not just any escapee. We're talking about Antoine Massey. Yeah, the same guy who thought it was smart to clown the cops the second he busted out. So where's the link? It goes way back. Old school ties between Lil Wayne's pops, Rabbit, and Antoine's father, Big Twine. Even though that sounds like a stretch, the connection is juicy enough for investigators to start paying close attention. Antoine is still out there on the run, and now there's chatter that Weezy might get roped in to help track him down. Now let's be clear, Lil Wayne hasn't been named a suspect, and he's not facing any charges.
My pop, Reginald McDonald, the day he passed, in 96, Stunner picked me up that same day. I got in the car, I had a little look on my face. He said his exact words was, "Look like you just lost your father. What's wrong?"
But that hasn't stopped his name from buzzing all over social media and getting whispered in street convos. And this whole link, it's not just wild speculation either. Antoine Massey isn't just some nobody in NOLA. If Rabbit and Big Twine were running in the same circles back in the day like people say, then this might be where the feds start pulling the thread. Oh, and don't forget, Wayne and Rabbit were tight. That father-son bond was strong. So if Rabbit had deep ties to Big Twine, there's no doubt folks are gonna look sideways at this whole situation. Wayne's never been shy about how much his pops meant to him. He's even said Rabbit's the reason he became who he is today. So if Rabbit and Antoine's dad were really locked in back in the day, it's got people wondering just how deep those roots went and whether some of that old school connection slid into the next generation. Now, let's keep it straight. Wayne and Antoine don't seem to have any personal ties. No flicks together, no DMS, no club run-ins, not even a like on each other's posts. Nada. But this is New Orleans we're talking about, a place where history don't die, and nearly everybody's somebody's cousin, play brother, or old neighbor. So with Antoine wilding out online, poking at the cops like he's invincible, it's no surprise the feds might start snooping around in every direction. And when that happens, all eyes swing to the industry, and Wayne's name slides right into the convo.
2003. I'm about to hit this.
So you been gone?
I've been gone for 14 summers, man. You hear me? But I ain't swum since 2003.
Especially since his record ain't exactly squeaky. Folks still remember that Rikers Island bid back in 2010. Gun charges, drug cases, yeah, it's been quiet lately, but the past don't always stay buried. Just cause he's been on the straight path lately don't mean the law forgot his rap sheets long enough to make the feds think twice. They might not be looking to pin anything on him, but they could want to bring him in just to talk. At this point, no one knows for sure if Weezy's gonna get that call from the feds, but let's be real, when you mix deep family ties, a past criminal record, and a name as big as his, there's no way he's totally off the radar. And when you start digging into Antoine Massey's backstory, it only gets crazier. Let's not sugarcoat it. Massey's out here acting like he's in a movie. This dude's got chess pieces tattooed across his face and forehead, so yeah, you'd think spotting him would be easy. But nah, even after him and 9 other inmates broke out of that New Orleans lockup on May 16th, he's still missing in action like he vanished into thin air. Almost 2 full weeks have gone by, and only 2 of them, Massey and Derek Groves, are still on the run. And they're not small-time crooks either. Both of them were locked up on second-degree murder charges.
State lawmaker calls on Sheriff Susan Hudson to step down after the jailbreak. Andres Fuentes reports the Attorney General would rather Hudson work through the investigation into this escape.
That's why the cops are still out here moving heavy, on full alert mode. Groves got his own rep as a stone-cold troublemaker, caught up in all kinds of violent charges. But Massey? Folks are straight up calling him the Houdini of Louisiana. No joke, he's been breaking out of jails and slipping past cops like it's his regular hustle. Matt Dennis, who runs this ankle monitor program in NOLA, even said straight up, Massey ain't new to this. One time he got tagged with a monitor and sliced it off like it was nothing, just cut it and vanished, bold as ever. And that wasn't even the first time. Dude's pulled off stunts like this 5 times already. If you count the ankle monitor escapes, his first Houdini act goes all the way back to when he dipped from juvie. Back in 2019, Massey pulled another wild one. Dude straight ran out of Morehouse Parish Jail with another inmate, hopped into a rental car, and dipped like it was a movie scene.
To 2019, he escaped from Morehouse Detention Center, just outside of Monroe. He was caught the same day, but in Texas.
Like seriously, who plans a jailbreak and lines up a getaway car like it's Uber Black? Now, for this most recent escape, word on the street is Massey wasn't just involved. He orchestrated the whole thing. Cops believe he had everything laid out. Money stashed, hotel rooms booked, food lined up. He even had a jailhouse Cash App hustle going on. Yeah, he was moving money from behind bars like he was running a startup, except it was all dirty money, fueling a full-on jail empire. And here's the wildest part. One of the jail employees, Sterling Williams, says Massey threatened to shank him if he didn't play along. Not just that. Security footage caught Williams chatting it up with Massey, Groves, and another inmate right before they bounced. And no, they didn't bust through some door like in the movies. These dudes yanked the toilet clean off the wall and squeezed out through a hidden tunnel like some prison break masterminds.
We show a dislodged toilet inside one of the cells and the words "too easy" scribbled above, pointing to a hole where the inmates are believed to have escaped.
But don't get it twisted. Massey ain't just famous for his slick escapes. His rap sheet's packed with serious charges. Armed robbery, running from the cops, gun possession. The list don't stop. And right now, he's still got open cases for domestic abuse, car theft, and he's wanted for a serious rape and kidnapping case out in St. Landry Parish. This ain't no small-time crook. This guy's playing a whole different game. This thing gets darker, real dark. Over in St. Tammany Parish, the domestic case Massey's tied to is straight up disturbing. Back in November 2024, he went off on his girlfriend in a violent outburst. She managed to break free and flag someone down for help. And just a few days later, cops found Massey laid up in Texas, chilling in a stolen Mercedes he jacked from a party in New Orleans. Out of the 10 inmates who pulled that crazy jailbreak, 8 have been caught. Most of them are already back in Angola. No bond, no brakes, locked down tight.
Open the door, dude. I'm not opening, you kidding me? Get out! Go with him!
But Massey and Derek Groves still missing. And now over a dozen people have been arrested for helping these dudes escape or hide. This wasn't some oops, we slipped out kind of situation. This was calculated, planned, and straight up criminal chess. So who are the rest of these escapees, and how did they manage to pull this off? Here's where things get real messy. That jail they broke out of, it was practically asking to get hit. Locks were busted, security was loose. It was a setup for disaster.
We do acknowledge there is no way people can get out of this facility without there being some type of lapse in security. There's no way. It's almost impossible, not completely, but almost impossible for anybody to get out of this facility without help from the outside.
One of the guys spent 20 minutes jimmying a broken sliding door, then casually walked into another cell and straight yanked a combo sink toilet unit off the wall like it was IKEA. Behind that, a pipe chase blocked by steel bars, which they cut through using nothing but electric hair clippers. Seriously, hair clippers. And it gets worse. Maintenance man Sterling Williams turned off the water so the whole place wouldn't flood, then vanished, saying an inmate threatened to stab him if he didn't go along with it. Meanwhile, the pod guard dipped out to grab some food, and the civilian supposed to be watching the cameras, gone? No one was watching. It was the perfect storm. Nobody saw a thing when this crew dipped out like it was a prison version of Mission Impossible. They snuck into a loading dock, scaled the wall, threw towels over barbed wire like pros, and sprinted across I-10 like they were scoring a touchdown. And get this, Before disappearing, a couple of them actually bolted the toilet back onto the wall to hide the escape route. Yeah, they really thought of everything. It wasn't until 7 hours later that deputies even realized anything was off. Just one late head count was all it took to blow the lid off the whole operation. By that point, most of the crew had already dipped, but it didn't take long for the law to start snatching folks up.
We are in the middle of a crisis. And crises can be a little bit chaotic. And everybody responds to crises in a different way.
Lenton Van Buren Jr., Leo Tate Sr., Dick Keenan, Dennis Gary Price, Robert Moody, Kendall Miles, Corey Boyd, and Jermaine Donald all got scooped up within days. And they didn't exactly leave quietly. These guys left a whole mess behind. The ones who got caught, they're right back at Angola. No bail, no second chances. Probably laying there wishing those towels had been wings. Now, for the aftermath, Sterling Williams, the jail worker caught up in the middle of it, is facing 10 counts of principal to simple escape and malfeasance in office. Basically, they're throwing the book at him. And he ain't alone. 3 more jail staffers got suspended without pay, and another one has already been booked. Inside the jail, one inmate picked up new charges for helping with the breakout. And outside the fence, police bagged 5 more folks, friends and family who were hiding the escapees. 2 women got hit as accessories after the fact, and 4 people linked to Van Buren got busted for trying to do a little weekend Airbnb-style hiding. Come on now, authorities aren't buying the fairy tale version. Let's be real. Nobody slices through steel bars with hair clippers, shuts off plumbing, and strolls out a loading dock unless the building's already halfway open from the inside. So yeah, the escape might have looked slick for a second, but once that manhunt kicked off, the shine wore off real fast. 8 of the 10 escapees are back in orange jumpsuits, 2 are still out there somewhere, and every single person who gave them help, they've gone from posting selfies to posing for mugshots. Now the fallout's real. Anyone even remotely linked to this mess has been talking, speculating, or pointing fingers. And every cop, every politician is catching side eyes. The whole city's been watching ever since word broke out. So who's actually catching the heat for this chaos? Let's break it down. Sheriff Susan Hudson is right at the center of it all. She runs the Orleans Parish Jail, and to her credit, she owned it. She straight up said, "This one's on me." That's her quote. She admitted the locks were trash, the jail was short on staff, and they didn't have the resources to handle something like this. District Attorney Jason Williams ain't sugarcoating a thing. He straight up said there's no way 10 dangerous inmates clawed through concrete and barbed wire without some serious inside help, period. Now his office is digging into everybody. Guards, clerks, contractors, anyone who might have cracked the door, passed a message, or looked the other way. Nobody's off limits. And get this, when the sheriff's team skipped doing a forensic sweep of the escape path, Williams wasn't having it. He demanded a full-blown investigation of the route top to bottom. Now the political pressure's on blast. Governor Jeff Landry jumped in, signing an executive order that brought in state police, inspectors, basically the whole squad. First on the list, a deep, no-nonsense review of the entire jail system from top to bottom. This is the first time in over a decade the city council's holding the sheriff's office under such a harsh spotlight. They want to know, was this chaos caused by broke budgets or straight-up sloppy leadership? Voters are mad, victims' families are furious, and now the Attorney General is making it crystal clear. Anyone who helped, no matter what uniform or title they wore, will face charges. No passes, no protection, and let's not forget the center of it all, Sterling Williams, the jail's plumber and maintenance man. Cops say he's the one who shut off the water, making it possible for the inmates to rip the toilet out and make their slick getaway. If that's true, he wasn't just fixing pipes, he was opening the door. Now Sterling Williams is staring down 10 counts tied to the escape plus malfeasance in office. His lawyer's out here claiming he was just trying to survive, that he got threatened, didn't know the full plan, and now he's being tossed under the bus to protect the bigger system from taking heat.
Mr. Williams is absolutely innocent that he was used as a tool by the escapees and is being used as a fall guy by Sheriff Hudson.
And you know what? Some folks actually believe it. They think Williams might have just been a pawn, caught in the middle while the real puppet masters sit back behind broken policies and empty guard towers. Either way, the whole chain of command is under the spotlight now. From top-level brass to low-level staff, nobody's sleeping easy. Whether this was just a mess of busted locks, short staffing, and one terrified maintenance guy, or something way deeper with organized help behind the scenes, everything's under the microscope now.
I was up at the barn, and I heard a lot of police.
But let's flip the lens real quick, because even DA Jason Williams is catching some side-eye. Apparently, the governor low-key threw shade at him in public, hinting that his office was dragging its feet and not charging people fast enough. Williams? He didn't take that lightly. He clapped back, saying it's frustrating to be blamed right in the middle of a full-blown crisis, especially when there are still dangerous escapees on the loose. He made it real clear. In moments like this, some folks step up, others stir the pot, and he's trying to fix things, not add to the mess. As for why his office hasn't filed more charges yet, Williams says it's simple, not enough solid evidence. Jason Williams didn't hold back. He called out the sheriff's office for straight up not giving his team the basics they needed. We're talking surveillance footage, body cam vids, contraband logs, and even simple incident reports. Without that stuff, the DA's office is legally stuck. They can't build solid cases out of thin air. Try to move forward without evidence, and boom, judges toss it, juries walk, and dangerous dudes skate free. Williams said, this isn't just slow. It's straight up risky to every case tied to the escape. He even broke it down case by case, showing which charges got accepted, denied, or just stalled out. And for most of the ones that didn't stick, same story. No paperwork, no video, no nothing, just holes. One of the escapees had even pleaded guilty to charges before, but the state never came to pick him up. So he stayed locked up locally until he busted out with the others. That one detail alone has people side-eyeing the whole system. And Williams made it clear, this ain't some new breakdown. He says the sheriff's office has had a pattern of not cooperating. He's written letters, flagged the issues for months, and even had to charge a deputy once for hiding makeshift weapons after a fight in the jail. To him, this is bigger than just one mistake. It's a deep-rooted failure in communication and accountability. But here's what really lit a feud. Williams said the governor could have just called him. His phone was on all weekend, and he was working alongside his forensics team the entire time. But instead of picking up the phone and keeping it professional, the governor took it public and aired out his frustration. Let's just call it what it is. There might have been more accomplices than escapees.
Dennis, with Assured Supervision Accountability Program, or ASAP, an electronic monitoring company, says Massey was a red flag from the start.
No lie. At this point, over a dozen people have been arrested for helping with the jailbreak. That's more than the number of fugitives still on the run. We're talking jail employees, friends, even family. So yeah, this wasn't just some fluke. It was a full-on network, and people are getting scooped up left and right. And the level of disrespect, wild. The escapees had the nerve to tag the bathroom wall with, "Too easy, LOL, like seriously." They graffitied their own exit route. Imagine the audacity. Even worse, the cameras actually caught it all. But because the jail was so understaffed, nobody was watching the footage in real time. That's how sloppy it's gotten. They walked out while the whole thing was being recorded. Just nobody was there to stop it. And here's where it gets ugly for real. This jail was supposed to be the fix. It cost $150 million and was built to replace a rundown, dangerous facility. But what did they get instead? The same old mess. Not enough staff, barely any training, and busted infrastructure. It's like they threw money at the problem but never fixed the core issues. Watchdogs and federal monitors have been sounding the alarm. They've warned that escapes have become more common, and every time the jail brushes it off with the same tired excuse, "We don't have enough staff." But let's be real, that excuse is wearing thin. Some politicians were ready to shut the whole thing down, but not anymore. This escape flipped the script real quick. That quiet talk about ending the federal consent decree, dead. This disaster just slammed the brakes on all of that. At first, Sheriff Susan Hudson tried to deflect, saying her critics were just playing politics. But when everything blew up in public, she changed her tune fast. Suddenly she's taking responsibility and asking for more funding to clean up the mess. Real convenient, huh? Meanwhile, let's not forget, Antoine Massey and Derek Groves are still on the run, and the state ain't playing games. They're offering $20,000 rewards for each of them. That's serious money. Officials have made it crystal clear. If you're caught helping these guys hide, you're going down right with them. No mercy. But here's the real kicker. This ain't just about one jailbreak. The entire scandal has the public heated. Folks already had trust issues with the New Orleans justice system. Now, that trust is on life support. Former inmates and community advocates are finally being heard, calling out inhumane conditions and broken promises, and they're not wrong. Let's be honest, this escape wasn't the disease, it was just the symptom. Yeah, individuals dropped the ball, yeah, insiders helped, but this system, from rusty locks to ghosted staff to shattered public trust, it's been broken for years. Now it's all out in the open. And the real question is, will anyone step up and fix it, or are we just waiting for the next headline to explode? So what do you think? Is this just the tip of the iceberg, or are we staring down the whole glacier? And yo, is Lil Wayne really about to get dragged into this whole mess? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We'll see you in the next one.